First of all, thank you so much for meeting up with us and taking the time to speak with us. I mean, you've been doing a million things lately. Like, it's so hard to keep up with everything that you're doing in terms of, like, meeting Obama casually or, like, hanging out at Twitter headquarters.
So casual.
So casual. Your life is so casual. But, so tell us a little bit about playlists, what you're going to be doing while you're here, and everything that you have going on.
This, I think, is my 4th playlist, or maybe it's my 3rd. I've been here, like, every single year. So this is clearly the most intimidating one. There's the most people here. It's the moment where I've had like the biggest growth since last playlist. So I have a lot of fun things planned. I'm doing between like panels and meetups and surprise things and main stage things, I think like 6 or 7 things throughout the weekend, which gets a little hectic. But I'm here to like meet everyone, have fun, meet all my favorite YouTubers, and like work. So like it's all good things. Like I love to do this stuff.
Does it get any easier now that you've done it so many times?
No, it gets harder and harder every time because I like am conflicted to like wanting to do a million things, but I just have to focus and try to realize like what's most important, what would my people want to see me do or like experience with me, and like, you know, try to prioritize that accordingly. So this year I'm doing an LGBT panel with a few of my friends. Which was really good last year. Like a lot of really smart discussion, a lot of like open dialogue, things like that. I am doing a meetup, which is actually falling on my birthday this year. Every playlist is on my birthday, which is simultaneously the best and worst thing because then everybody's saying happy birthday, but also it's like I'm like running around like a crazy person on my birthday. Slash really hungover at Playlist Live. And then, so I'm doing my meetup on my birthday, and it's like a huge birthday bash, a lot of surprises. We've been working together with Playlists like to make it the most epic meetup of all time. So I'm excited for that. And then, what else am I doing? Main stage stuff with the British crew, main stage stuff with Our Second Life, main stage stuff with my good friend Troy Sivan. A lot of things.
You have a lot
of things, but it's all good stuff.
Yeah. And in terms of like handling everything that you have going on and balancing it, I mean, what is kind of like your mentality when you are just approached with a million things to do? How do you handle it?
Do things that I would have fun doing.
Okay.
Because if I do something that like is just not going to be fun, it's going to translate to the audience, and everyone's going to be like, Tyler does not want to be here, which has happened before, and I'm just like on stage like. But like, I mean, I'll deliver, but like at the same time, I'm just like, there are better things that I could be doing with my time, like having an impromptu meetup or something that would be valued by my people a lot more. So just prioritizing what my people would want and trying to deliver. And knowing that I need nap time, knowing that I need time to hang out with my friends, because this is as much for me to meet all my favorite YouTubers as much as it is for like other YouTube viewers.
Yeah, absolutely. And like sincerity comes across so easily on film, or when you're being filmed, or when you're up on stage, so I can imagine that you just sort of have to go for what you want to do and what you really enjoy. Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about like the beginning and like pre-YouTube Tyler and everything like that. So tell us about like when you first started YouTube, what was that like? Was it scary?
It was not scary because it was like not even a thing yet. It was back in 2007. When there were like maybe the most subscribed person had 100,000 subscribers. Like it was one of those things where it was a very small community, not many people doing it, and people doing it not for like any type of motive, just to like join the community and have these online friends. So I did it, and initially because I saw there was a guy named William Sled who was vlogging, and I was like, he can do just talking to a camera, I could do that too. So I tried, and I was terrible. But I initially did it to keep in touch with some of my friends from high school because we all went off to college, like all around the country. And then as time went on, like more people were watching, and I realized there was like a community there, and that I had kind of joined the community. And then ever since then, it's been 7 years now, and it's kind of grown every year.
How much time went on before you started realizing that it wasn't just your closest friends and family that were watching?
There were like definitely like bumps along the road. So I remember one moment I realized I had more subscribers than the university's stadium. And I was like at a football game, and I was like looking around the stadium, and somebody said 75,000 people can fit in here. And I was like, I have more than 75,000 subscribers. Wow. I could fill this with my people. That's insane. Things like that, like where you really forget like just, you know, the numbers game, and you realize what those numbers mean. Because it's easy to get wrapped up in like how many subscribers you get that day and not think about the lives that you impact every day. So when like you have those moments of clarity is, I think, when you really realize there are humans here, like watching, especially like playlists. Like you see all these people and it's kind of intimidating. Or you have a meet and greet and they know every detail about your life, and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Tyler," and they're like, "I know." I'm like, "I forgot." So things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of figuring out like what type of content you wanted to make at the beginning, did you have a sense of like what you were doing when you first started?
No, which is the best. It was the best time because I was just like, fuck it, like I'll upload whatever. Like nobody's watching, I don't care. Which is still how I try to remind myself like to make videos, because I'm like, I want to make videos that I would want to look back on in a year and enjoy, as opposed to what do I think is the formula for, you know, YouTube success this year or whatever. So I've just tried to, and I've had ups and downs of trying to realize that, because it's been 7 years, and like there are years where I'm like, I feel like I need to deliver something that is like this in this little box, but now I think I'm at a really comfortable place where I enjoy what I'm making, I know what I'm making, I know who I am, I know what I'm delivering, and I'm just having fun.
That's really great to hear though, because like when you go to a lot of these panels at Playlist, you hear all this information about like you need to have this amount of content out and like all this.
I mean, there are ways that it helps. If you have a regular schedule, it helps. If you have, you know, well-designed thumbnails, it helps. Like things like that. There are definitely recipes that will aid your success, but if you don't enjoy it, none of those things are going to help. You know what I mean? Like if you don't enjoy what you're making, if you don't feel passionate about the content that you create, then it's no formula is going to fix that.
Right.
I think.
And then talk to us a little bit about like when did you start doing collaborations and all that kind of stuff?
So I had always been like really intimidated by doing collabs because, you know, you have the one-on-one experience with the camera and like you just get into your rhythm, but then there was a year when like people started sending each other clips, like that was the type of collab where it would like jump cut to each other and like, because nobody was in the same area, and now that everyone's in LA it's like so easy. But I remember, I think the first time I really did a true collab was I went to London, and the previous Playlist Live I met Jack and Finn, who's Jack Scap, and I ran up to them and I was like, I'm a huge fan, like blah, blah, blah. They thought I was a crazy person. And then they saw me the next day with like a line and they were like, oh, he's a YouTuber. I was like, oh, great. But then I reached out the next year and I was like, hey, I'm gonna be in London. I would love to film something. And that was the first time I ever did like anything that was anything like cross-promotional. Like, well, you know how collabs work now. Like, go check out his channel for the video, blah, blah, blah. Like, just promoting each other and giving each other like a little bit of a shout out. That was the first time I did something like that, and it was a huge moment for my channel because both of us had such audiences that loved the other person but had never heard of the other person. So it was like just eye-opening that this was like an opportunity to meet new people and to you know, grow my people and I don't know, just expand what I wanted to do. So ever since then I kind of have loved doing collabs, and I even did, last August I did a full month of collabs where every day was a surprise collaboration, uploaded every single day at noon, which is crazy, but it was like the funnest month because I think collabs are great.
And it turned out so well.
Thank you.
It's so fun to watch.
Thank you. Well, it was a lot of, it was terrifying because some of them I filmed day of because like I didn't know if I was going to be able to. Like I flew to San Francisco one day to film in an afternoon, to upload that afternoon, to fly back. Just like some of them were a little bit crazy. But I think they all turned out, hopefully.
No.
It was something that was like 3 months in the making. Like I was filming for 3 months just preparing for it. But it was worth it, and it's one of like my favorite moments that I've had on my channel because it was so fun, and I got to highlight all my best friends and like bring out cool parts of them and have them bring out cool parts of me. And
in terms of coming up with the ideas for the collabs, like what is that process?
Oh my god, the worst. Because I'm just like, I literally go through life now, I'm like, how can I turn this table into a video idea? Like I'm always thinking like, what could be a challenge? Now I just am more comfortable not having to fulfill like doing a challenge or a tag or something like that. I'm like, let's just sit at a couch and talk because that's fun.
Right.
And like if I am actually friends with these people, like that should carry a video.
Absolutely.
And people would want to see that, I would hope. Because I would love to see my favorite YouTubers just sit on a couch and talk.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's challenging, but that's part of the fun, I guess.
Yeah. And then at what point did YouTube sort of start getting to know you and like reaching out to you and
YouTube as an entity?
YouTube as an entity, yeah.
I don't know. I like did YouTube Next Up.
Okay.
I did not win it for a multitude of reasons, but like I think that was the first interaction I've had with like YouTube as an entity. I don't know. Throughout the years, I've kind of had a growing relationship with them, and especially joining a MCN, I joined Big Frame.
Right.
They have really good partnerships with YouTube where they can kind of work as a liaison between the creator and the platform. So just having that support system enabled me to like have that open dialogue with them. But I've never really, I don't know. I'm more of like I'm on my own most of the time. I edit all my stuff. I upload all my stuff. I do the descriptions on everything. Like I am a one-man person. So yeah, I don't know.
And what is kind of like a normal time frame for you in terms of like filming a video, and then how long does it take you to edit and upload?
It depends on the video. So I can turn out a video in a day. The video that I'm uploading today, I filmed in December. Sometimes it's a little bit more of a process, just if it's like logistically more hard to like, you know, figure out the logistics of it or the edits or whatever. But usually a day, if I wanted to. I've made hundreds and hundreds of videos at this point, so I know exactly how I film, how I edit, like what I need to like shoot for a thumbnail. Like, you know what I mean? I know what I like. I'm lucky and unfortunate that I like get my own rhythm and my pace.
Right.
But that didn't happen immediately. That took years.
Did that take a long time to figure out?
Yeah, and I always tell people like, don't be afraid to start YouTubing because your first 100 videos, first 50 videos, whatever it is, are going to be practice. They're going to be you figuring out how you film. They're going to be you figuring out how you edit. And you can always private it, but which is what I've done. But like you have to just start so you learn how you do it. And I wouldn't be where I am, comfortable with editing and filming and everything, if I hadn't gone through that process before.
So equipment. What type of equipment do you use? Editing software?
Sure. I use Final Cut Pro. I vlog with this little camera. I don't even know what it is. A Canon S110. I film on a big camera. I don't even know what it is. I literally asked Jack and Finn, I said, send me an Amazon link and I'm just gonna buy it because I have no clue about cameras. And then Elfie taught me how to use Final Cut Pro. I don't know, I'm like, so really, I am not the best at anything technological.
But that's interesting that it really is a community then. Like you guys really are helping each other behind the scenes,
yeah, like,
to make all that happen.
Last night I had a few of my friends help me edit like a new video because I was like, how do I do this like editing trick? I can't figure it out. And Troy was telling me this tip, and like Connor was telling me this tip, and Zoe was like, no, just do this. Like everyone's here to help each other, which is the coolest thing. Just because like it's like a learning process, and everyone's trying to go through it together and figure it out together.
So tell us a little bit about like what you have coming up in like the next few months and stuff like that.
A lot of travel. This year has been the craziest travel year I've had. Last year I thought was insane, and I was always on planes like thinking I wish I were counting how many planes I'm on this year. This year it's like insane. So I'm going to Italy for a bit. I'm going to London for a bit. I'm going to Ireland for a bit. I'm going to, I think, Singapore after that maybe.
Wow.
Just like a lot of fun things, a lot of like YouTube related things. I don't know if all those are confirmed. So maybe, hopefully. And then just a lot of conventions. I try to go to as many as I can because I feel like the more people I can meet, the better. I have a lot of new merch coming out. I'm working on a lot of fun things with that, like a lot of fun projects. I'm working on a lot of other things that I can't talk about, but I want you to know about. But fun things, all good things that are dreams of mine that are coming to fruition. So it's good. That's
incredible. And at what point did you kind of know that this could be a career for you?
Oh God. Well, I went full-time YouTube like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And I had been doing it for, 4 or 5 years. Right. And so it was always a hobby, and it still is a hobby to me. That's what I consider it. But to go full-time YouTube, it was when I hated my job at the right time, and I was growing at the right time, and I had just signed to a YouTube network at the right time. And so there were a lot of things that were aligned at the right time, and I just took a chance, and I moved to LA, and everything just worked out, thankfully, and I've just not stopped working since, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and committing 100% do you think would make a huge difference?
Oh yeah, 100%, because if I had just approached it nonchalantly as a hobby, then I wouldn't have had the same work ethic and the same drive to make it a career that is exponentially growing, you know what I mean? It wouldn't have had the same effect. So I'm really thankful that like I have, you know, a push and a drive to like make it happen, because without it, I don't think you can do it. Unless you're super lucky, which if you are, help me out.
And was signing to a network, did that, was that a tipping point at all, or did that help?
Yeah, because it was a lot of the liaison work between YouTube and me was taken care of, or a lot of working with brands was taken care of, or because before I had been reaching out to like people, or I had been trying to coordinate my university visits where I would go and speak, and I would like not be able to negotiate because I was just like, I don't want to be a challenge, like I was just like trying to like come and talk or come and do whatever, but to have people do it on my behalf and try to help me out and do it in the best way possible is a game changer. You have to have people on your side and have to have people that help you communicate the value that is what you're doing, because a lot of people don't get YouTube yet. Right. So yeah, to have the network was a game changer.
Yeah. And do you sense that like your audience is growing in terms of like from an older audience now? Like, are people starting to pay attention that aren't just that like younger prime YouTube age?
I don't know. It changes. It changes all the time, and it's changed throughout the years all the time. I try not to fixate on that. I try to just continue to create the content that made them subscribe.
And not be focused on
who's watching, but just like what I want to create.
Deliver good content.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we have to ask you about Obama and your visit to the White House.
Sure.
What was that experience like?
It was great. It was one of those things where it happened 2 days before. I was in Hawaii. I only had tank tops, so I had to like scramble, get a suit, fly from Hawaii to DC. In an hour, I went from the airport to the White House and sat in the Oval Office and had a meeting with the president and talked about digital strategy. And so it was one of those things like I never saw it happening. I never saw it like as a possibility. So I'm so thankful for YouTube, because like I would never even like known to dream to do that.
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing. And then the coolest thing was being able to vlog it and then come back to YouTube and be like, hey y'all, so this is what the president said.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my favorite thing about doing cool stuff, is being able to come back to my living room and talk about it to a camera. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then what were some of the biggest takeaways kind of from that meeting and digital strategy and all that kind of stuff?
That people are starting to value YouTube, and people are starting to see that there is strategy behind social media use, and there is, it's not just a brand putting a link on Twitter. It is personality, it is people working together and collaborating, and it's recognizing other people's talents, because the White House literally knew what everybody at the table did or does, or like campaigns that they had worked on, and so they were like, what can you teach us? How can we learn from you? Like each individual person, not just like, what do y'all got to say? It was like, Tyler, you did this campaign, can you talk about it and teach us how you did it? Yeah. So things like that. It was recognizing other people's strengths and trying to work together to do good things.
Thank you so much. That's a great note to end it on. It's been amazing to get a chance to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Cool. We're good.
Later, y'all.